Go ahead.
Well, welcome all. Thanks for joining us again for today's webinar and Preparing Healthy Meals series, Great Grillin'. And as you can see on the slide, we do have one more session in the series, Savory Suppers, that'll be presented on May 26th at 2 p.m. And so today's webinar is going to be brought to you by the University of Florida IFAS Extension, which is a part of the nationwide educational network that extends research-based info out from the university to our communities. And our mission is to provide resources for individuals and families to sustain and improve quality of life. And I'm delighted to introduce our webinar team. We've got Dr. Wendy Dahl, Associate Professor and Extension Specialist at the University of Florida, Julie England, Extension Agent in Seminole County, Wendy Lynch, Extension Agent in Putnam County, Marie Eric, Extension Agent and County Extension Director in Liberty County, and Annie, who's our presenter today, Extension Agent and County Extension Director in Clay County. As always, just want to do a quick review for a few of the Zoom features for those of you who are new. If you are where you're viewing the actual screen today, you may have to use your mouse to hover to get that tool option at the bottom to pop up. And so what you want to do is if you have questions or comments, please click on the chat icon and a little window should pop up. And so you'll have an option either for the drop-down menu to send us a message as the panelist, which is our webinar team, or you can send it to all panelists and all attendees, which we encourage. And at the end, we always have a brief little survey that we'll send out following the webinar, and we definitely appreciate your feedback. Quick disclaimer, the information provided is for educational purposes only. Reference to a commercial product does not constitute an endorsement by the webinar team members or the University of Florida IFAS Extension. And I'd like to welcome you all to the next session of Preparing Healthy Meals, Great Grillin', and it's my absolute pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Annie Sheldon.
Thank you, Wendy. Good afternoon, everyone. So we'll start off today with the objectives for our webinar. We're going to be talking about why to choose grilling as your food preparation method, food safety of grilling, how to prepare beef, poultry, seafood, vegetables, and fruits on the grill, and then talk a little bit about some possible health risks associated with grilling. Grilling is one way for us to prepare foods to help us meet our goal of consuming a healthy eating pattern that includes a variety of colorful fruits and vegetables, as well as a variety of protein foods, including lean meats, poultry, and seafood. Grilled meats tend to be healthier because fat is able to drip away, leaving less fat on the food itself. Grilling also enhances the natural flavor of the food without the need for adding excess amounts of fat and salt. So during our webinar today, I have a few different myth or fact questions for you all. So this is our first one for today. Myth or fact, you should wash raw chicken to get rid of the bacteria. I'll give you a few moments to think about that. Feel free to share your response in the chat if you would like. So is that a myth or is that a fact when it comes to food safety? That is a myth. Do not wash your raw chicken. During washing, chicken juices can spread in the kitchen and contaminate other foods, utensils, and countertops. Cooking is the best method to prevent any bacteria. So getting ready to grill safely. Step 1, separate. When shopping, pick up meat, poultry, and seafood last, right before your checkout. Separate them from other food in your shopping cart and grocery bags. To guard against cross-contamination, put packages of raw meat and poultry into individual plastic bags, and a lot of times those are provided at the grocery store. Step 2, chill. Keep meat, poultry, and seafood refrigerated until ready to grill. When transporting, keep below 40 degrees Fahrenheit in an insulated cooler. Step 3, clean. Wash your hands with soap before and after handling raw meat, poultry, and seafood. Wash work surfaces, utensils, and the grill before and after cooking. Check your grill and tools prior to preparation. Use a moist cloth or paper towel to clean the grill surface before cooking. If you use a wire bristle brush to clean your grill, make sure you thoroughly inspect the grill surface before cooking. Wire bristles from cleaning the grill could dislodge and stick into your food on the grill. Step 4, don't cross-contaminate. Throw out marinades and sauces that have touched raw meat juices, which can spread germs to your cooked foods. Always use clean utensils and a clean plate to remove your cooked meat from the grill. Step 5, cook. Use a food thermometer to ensure meat is cooked hot enough to kill harmful germs. When smoking, keep temperatures inside the smoker at 225 degrees Fahrenheit to 300 degrees to keep meat at a safe temperature while it cooks. For whole cuts of beef, pork, lamb, and veal, make sure you cook to an internal temperature of 145 degrees. For fish, 145. Hamburgers and other ground beef, 160. And all poultry and pre-cooked meats like hot dogs to 165. After grilling, make sure to maintain a temperature of 140 degrees or warmer until the food is served. Step 6, refrigerate. Divide leftovers into small portions and place in a covered shallow container. Put in the freezer or fridge within 2 hours of preparation. 1 hour if the temperature outside is above 90 degrees. Here comes our next myth or fact. Grass-finished beef is more nutritious than grain-finished beef. What are your thoughts on this one? Is this one a myth or is this one a fact? See some people chiming in on the chat. This is a myth. While grass-finished beef tends to be a little leaner, both grass-finished and grain-finished beef are natural sources of more than 10 essential nutrients, including protein, iron, and zinc. All cattle, whether grass or grain-finished, spend the majority of their lives eating grass on a pasture, which provides for delicious and nutritious beef for us to consume. So let's talk a little bit about grilled beef. Grilling is one of the most exciting ways to enjoy beef, whether cooking on a gas or charcoal grill, in the backyard or at a tailgate. This cooking method provides maximum flavor and optimal tenderness. When it comes to your health, beef contains important nutrients that your body needs. In just 1 3-ounce cooked serving of beef, you're getting those 10 essential nutrients I mentioned earlier, including about half of your daily value for protein. A healthy portion of any type of meat is about 3 ounces or the size of a deck of cards, and definitely no more than 6 ounces. It sounds small, but just remember all the delicious grilled veggies that will be keeping it company on your plate. Some experts emphasize the importance of bringing steaks to room temperature before grilling, but this is not recommended for food safety reasons. So plan on pulling the meat from the fridge, seasoning it well, and getting started right away. Don't forget to marinate. Tender beef cuts can be marinated for 15 minutes to 2 hours for flavor. Less tender cuts, such as flank steak, should be marinated for 6 to 24 hours in the refrigerator. And I believe we have a video that we're going to share with all of you at the end of the presentation that you can view at your own time that's going to give you some more tips on the marinating. There are 2 reasons you want to use a marinade: to add flavor or to tenderize. Look for low sodium marinades or recipes. When marinating beef, always marinate in the refrigerator, never at room temperature, and allow for 1/4 to 1/2 cup of marinade for every pound of beef. Marinate in a food-safe plastic bag or in a non-reactive container such as a glass or plastic bowl. Turn or stir the beef occasionally to allow even exposure to your marinade. Before cooking, remove the beef from the marinade and pat dry with a paper towel. This will help promote browning and prevent steaming of the meat. If a marinade is to be used for a basting or a sauce after the meat or after the meat is cooked or during the preparation, be sure to reserve a small portion of your marinade before adding the raw beef to it. Make sure your grill is clean to prevent flare-ups and the rack is well oiled to prevent sticking. If you're using charcoal, follow the directions for how much you'll need and how to build the charcoal pile. For gas grills, refer to your owner's manual and set the grill to medium-high. Use an oven-proof or instant read thermometer to monitor your doneness. Don't flip the steak so much that you only usually need one flip on a steak, but you want to make sure you take care to avoid charring or burning and be ready to turn down the heat or move it to a cooler spot on the grill. Keep in mind the internal temperature will continue to rise for a few minutes after coming off the grill. For steaks 1/2 inch or thicker, insert an instant read thermometer horizontally from the side so that it penetrates the thickest part or center of the steak, not touching the bone or fat. For medium rare, the temperature should read 145 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature for medium is 160 degrees, and for well done is 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Hamburgers should always reach a minimum of 160 degrees. Here's another step that novice cooks often overlook: resting the meat before serving. Even if you're super hungry like I usually am when it's coming off the grill, it's really worth the wait because it prevents all of those tasty juices from draining onto your plate. For most grill-friendly cuts, about 3 minutes resting time is enough. If you're slicing the steak before serving, be sure to cut across the grain. And also, there's no shortage for tips on assembling a great burger topped with lots of veggies and flavor. So here's our next myth or fact if you want to share your thoughts. Any chicken product can be labeled farm raised. Is that a myth or is that a fact? Some responses coming in. And that is a fact. All chickens are raised on farms. So any chicken could be labeled farm raised, but this term is often used in restaurants on their menus and usually refers to chickens that are locally farmed. Chicken cooked on the grill offers many tasty and healthful options. Skinless, boneless breast or breast tenders are low in fat and cook quickly on the grill. Chicken legs, thighs, and leg quarters have a bit more fat and take a little more time to cook, but the flavor is worth the payoff. It's best to cook chicken parts over steady medium heat to ensure even cooking and to prevent burning. Grilled chicken should be closely monitored and turned often. Chicken absorbs flavors readily, so it's perfect for marinating, adding spice rubs, or brushing with a flavorful barbecue sauce. Chicken breast can be grilled with or without the skin, but we do recommend removing the skin to help make that choice be more lean and lower in fat. You can cut the chicken breast into strips and thread it onto skewers, or you can cut it into cubes for kebabs. You want to sear your bone-in chicken breast for about 4 minutes per side, and you can do this on the stove and then move it to the grill for 18 to 20 more minutes or until the breast reaches an internal temperature of 165. Cook skinless, boneless chicken breast over medium heat for about 10 to 15 minutes, turning every 4 or 5 minutes. And again, cook to that 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Grilled chicken leg quarters make an impressive presentation, as do chicken halves, but they take a little bit more time. They cook in about 30 to 35 minutes, and you want to make sure you're turning those often as well to prevent burning. They are also done at an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Chicken wings make tasty appetizers and take about 10 to 15 minutes to grill, while thigh and leg meat are rich in flavor and take longer to cook, about 25 to 30 minutes on the grill. Be sure to cook both of those the same to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, here's our next myth or fact. It is recommended to consume 8 ounces of seafood per week. What are your thoughts on this one? Is that a myth or is that a fact? Fact: consumption of about 8 ounces per week of a variety of seafood is recommended by the Dietary Guidelines for Americans and is associated with increased cardiovascular health and reduced cardiac deaths among individuals with and without pre-existing cardiovascular disease. So let's increase that seafood consumption for our heart health. Grilling gives a smoky flavor and a crisp texture to many different types of fin fish and shellfish. It works best for meatier, firmer fleshed fin fish cut into steaks or fillets with the skin still attached. However, flakier fin fish, skinless fillets, and smaller shellfish that could otherwise slip through the grill grates can be grilled in using a grill basket. Grill baskets are non-stick wire cages with a top and a bottom and a long removable handle that hold the food firmly in place so they can be easily flipped or removed from the grill. Prepare seafood for grilling by very lightly spraying both sides of it with an olive oil or canola oil or other healthy oil option that you choose. So you want to make sure you do this away from the direct flames. Spraying with oil rather than brushing or rubbing the oil in with your hands can help avoid contact and cross-contamination with other foods that you may be grilling. Once oiled, you can season your seafood with dry herbs and spices, or marinate the seafood with your favorite combination of juices, herbs, spices, and oils. Be sure to shake off excess marinade before grilling to avoid flare-ups. Finfish, large shrimp, and scallops may be placed directly on the grill grates and cooked until opaque. Smaller varieties are easier to turn if placed on water-soaked wooden skewers or in that grill basket that I mentioned earlier. Shellfish, including mussels, clams, and oysters, may be placed directly on the grill and cooked until their shells open, about 5 minutes. Discard any that do not open after cooking. As a general rule, seafood steaks and whole fish will take about 10 minutes to cook for each inch of thickness. Cook to 145 degrees Fahrenheit. Thin fillets will take less time. If fillets have skin, place them skin side down and do not move for at least 2 minutes to build up a crust so that they will not stick. If grilling smaller fillets, make a few shallow slashes through the skin, which will help the fillet from curling up as the skin shrinks and the fish cooks. All right, let's talk a little bit about grilled vegetables and fruits. Grilling intensifies the flavor of fruits and vegetables just as it does for meat. Kebabs that alternate meat and pieces of onion, pepper, or other produce like pineapple are a great way to increase veggie and fruit intake. Or you could try something like pictured here, which is very innovative, a meat pizza. Take a thin slice of beef and top it with your favorite sauce, low-fat cheese, and veggies to get in that extra serving of veggies. Or skip the meat altogether and grill something like eggplant or portobello mushrooms. Just about all of your favorite colorful fruits and veggies can be grilled. The trick is to cut them into pieces so that they cook quickly and evenly without burning. Brush them with olive oil to prevent sticking or use a grill basket to keep them out of the line of the fire. Some other favorites include asparagus, avocado, corn, mushrooms, onions, peaches, pears, plums, potatoes, squash, and zucchini. So lots of different colorful options that you can put on the grill right along with your protein. So let's talk a little bit about the possible health risk of grilling. Heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, I know those are big words, but we're going to call those HCAs and PAHs, are chemicals formed when muscle meat, including beef, pork, fish, or poultry, is cooked using high temperature methods, such as pan frying or grilling directly over open flame. Also, these form during other preparation processes, such as smoking of meat. HCAs and PAHs become capable of damaging DNA only after they are metabolized by specific enzymes in the body in a process called bioactivation. Currently, there is no definitive link to cancer risk in humans. The formation of HCAs and PAHs varies by meat type, cooking method, and doneness level, whether that be rare, medium, or well done. Whatever the type of meat, however, meats cooked at high temperatures, especially above 300 degrees Fahrenheit, as in the method of grilling or pan frying, or are cooked for a long time, tend to have more HCAs. For example, well done grilled chicken and steak all have high concentrations, as well as cooking methods that expose meat to smoke or charring. Concerned individuals can reduce their exposure by avoiding meat to open flame or to hot metal surfaces, and avoiding prolonged cooking times, especially at high temperatures. Pre-cooking meat in the microwave or stove prior to exposure to high temperatures can also substantially reduce HCA formation by reducing the time that the meat must be in contact with high heat. Continuously turning meat over on a high heat source can substantially reduce HCA formation compared to just leaving the meat on one side without flipping it. Remove charred portions of meat and refrain from using preparing gravy made from the drippings, because this can help further reduce HCA and PAH exposure. So a recap of what we covered today, we went over a little bit about food safety and grilling, preparation methods of beef, poultry, seafood, vegetables, and fruits on the grill, as well as some of the possible health risks associated with grilling. I hope you all enjoyed the information provided in today's webinar, and we will open up for questions if you would like to put those into the chat, and also be sure to complete the short survey that will be sent to you following today's webinar. We really appreciate your feedback.
Annie, I know we do have a few questions. I don't know if Marie's planning to ask those today, or if not, I have those available.
I have them as well. So the first question was, could you expand just a little bit on the difference between grain-fed versus grass-fed beef?
Sure. So as I mentioned, all beef initially starts out on grass. So all of our cattle begins on the pasture, and then either it is finished off towards closer to the time of when we would be processing that beef. Either they are fed a grain-based diet in feedlots, or either they are continued to stay in the pasture and to consume that grass that's growing in the pasture. So that takes place at the end of the process. So we do know that the grass-fed, grass-finished is a little bit leaner, but as I mentioned before, both are great options.
Okay. The next question was, is there a need for separate food thermometers if you have a multitude of different meat cuts? So for instance, if you have chicken and maybe sausage and then beef on your grill at the same time?
Ooh, I'm going to defer to our team on this. I mean, we definitely need to be sanitizing that thermometer between uses. What are your thoughts on?
I generally sanitize in between.
Yeah.
Most definitely. So you definitely want to have either different thermometers. If you don't have access to more than one, then I would say, just like they're saying, go ahead and clean and sanitize in between. Otherwise, now I know one of the questions mentioned about if you just have steak on the grill, yes, you can use the same thermometer for that.
So also they wanted to know if you were using a brush to put your marinades on, what was your best tip for cleaning that brush?
It really depends on what type of brush you're using. I know a lot of times the newer type are those silicone type brushes. So I would just make sure to follow the manufacturer cleaning recommendations. Some of those probably can be put in the dishwasher, but others not. So just make sure you're at least using warm soap and water in our normal sanitation practices.
Okay. Also, there was a question about using foil on your grill. Is that a good thing, a bad thing, a do, a don't?
Yeah, definitely. You can do your veggie and foil packages. I like to do that often. Do your veggies where just lightly season them and put a little olive oil and kind of make that little folded up package where they steam on the grill versus actually grilling from the direct heat. You can do this with your fish as well. Just make sure you're getting your tin foil from a reputable source.
Okay. And, there was a question about cooking time for veggies on the grill, and that Julie kind of answered that. And it does depend on your vegetables and depending on, you know, what you have on the grill, and if you have it on an upper level or a lower level, that can vary. So
Right, yeah, and you have to take that into consideration. A lot of times if you're doing potatoes or corn on the cob, you probably want to put those onto the grill earlier and more kind of away from the direct flames so they can stay on the grill longer and make sure they have enough time to cook thoroughly. You could also always start your potatoes in the microwave if you want to do like a baked potato or roasted potato on the grill. You can start them in the microwave and soften them a little bit and then move them over to the grill for that nice flavor.
okay. Did I miss any questions?
I just had one on an indoor electric grill. I haven't had experience with, I just bought one actually last week, and I'm trying it out for the first time tonight, but I don't know if has anyone else had any experience with electric grills? Does it
What was the question specifically, Wendy?
It says, would they want to get a grilled flavor, like a grilled taste? And they've looked into using electric grills, but they want to have that, you know, the outdoor flavor.
Yeah, a lot of times the flavor does come from the charcoal or the type of material you're using. Obviously, when we're smoking, it comes from the flavor used in the smoker, the type of the wood of the flavor in the smoker. I would say that definitely there's a less grilled taste when you use those indoor electric grills, but they're definitely an excellent choice as far as a healthy way to prepare your foods with not a lot of added fats.
Okay.
This is Julie. The one thing to think of also is gas grills don't give you the flavor that a charcoal grill does.
Mm-hmm.
People who are real connoisseurs of grilling are big into charcoal grill. Those of us like me, who just want to get out and grill and not have to deal with the charcoal, I'm willing to forego a little bit of that charcoal flavor for the convenience of a gas grill.
Yeah, they're definitely a lot more convenient. Just go outside, turn them on, and you're ready to start grilling.
I like that.
Yep. Someone did mention using liquid smoke, and I just recently saw a recipe, y'all don't laugh, and it's actually grilling a carrot like a hot dog, and you have to, there's a marinade for it. And actually one of our colleagues, Andrea, mentioned it before too. And it's got like a soy sauce and something to that effect, but you also use some of that liquid smoke, so you're getting that grill taste.
Yeah, if you like the smoky flavor, that's definitely an option to add into your marinades if you're doing more of the indoor grilling or on your gas grill.
It's easy to overdo the liquid smoke, so better to start a little bit. Well, it is. I've had stuff that's like, ooh, that was a bit much.
And I saw the question about the HCA, which Wendy Lynch has answered in the chat box. And I think that
One other thing, Marie, that somebody asked about and we may not know about is how to clean the actual brush that you're going to grill with. Anybody? My husband does the grilling, so I don't know the answer to that one.
Is it the grill the brush that's cleaning the grill,
yes,
or the brush
that was the question. That was the question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood that earlier. I was thinking the basting brush. Yeah, I do not know the answer to that, because that is a concern of mine when you're using those wire brushes to clean the grill, or even the ones that are almost like the Brillo pad type brush to clean the grill. We definitely need to look into that and see if we can email that out, the answer to that question.
Another way that you can actually clean your grill is to put some oil on like a paper towel and hold it with your tongs and rub it over the the grill while it's heating up. That'll clean some of the stuff off of it as well. And it'll also help keep things from sticking.
Yeah, and a lot of grills these days, especially the gas grills, have the grates that you can remove and take into the kitchen to clean off if you feel like you really have a lot of buildup on there and you want to really get some of that off. But yeah, the best method, like Julie mentioned, you can use the oil and the paper towel. But yeah, I tend to be a little wary of those wire brushes just because I'm afraid of them contaminating the food.
Somebody just mentioned that they use balled up aluminum foil to clean the grill grates. Good idea.
Yeah, I've seen that before too. It's a great idea. Definitely make sure if you're going out to public facilities that have grills that you're taking good precaution with cleaning those, because they may have been contaminated by more than just previously cooked foods.
Good tip.
Very good tip. Very good tip. So I think we answered all the questions. I'll give it a second or two to see if anything else comes up.